Now, some more news from the historic Alaska summit. In fact, in a landmark statement following the high-stakes meeting that took place between U.S. President and the Russian President, Trump called the talks extremely productive, adding that the outcomes could prevent thousands of people a week from being killed. Here's more. In fact, while details of the agreements reached remain limited, the President's remarks hint at major developments with potentially global impact.
President Putin and his entire team, we're going to stop thousands of people a week from being killed, and President Putin wants to see that as much as I do. So, again, Mr. President, I'd like to thank you very much, and we'll speak to you very soon and probably see you again very soon. I believe we had a very productive meeting. There were many, many points that we...
The high-stakes face-to-face meeting that took place between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin, it was watched closely by leaders around the world. And despite global anticipation, the war in Ukraine still grinds on. No Ukraine ceasefire or peace deal was announced. Instead, tough words, red lines and political calculations is all we saw from that meet, in fact. But for Putin here, who received a red carpet welcome, it was a symbolic moment that ended Russia's diplomatic isolation, at least for the cameras. Now, for Donald Trump here, it was all about image. He used the summit to position himself as a global peacemaker, even as real agreements remained elusive and the war continues on ground. Meanwhile, Ukraine faces renewed pressure here. Sources say President Zelensky is being urged to make a deal, even as battlefield remains active. And in fact, in a surprise turn, Putin has now invited Trump to Moscow. Whether that visit will materialize or not is anyone's guess, but diplomacy, it seems, is far from over when it comes to Ukraine war. Now, viewers, let's break down the key sticking points from closed-door discussions. First up, Putin demanded land cessations and recognition of Crimea as Russian. Trump rejected all territorial concessions, we're getting to understand. Next up, the US sought limits on nuclear expansion. Russia responded with vague, non-binding terms. No arms control deal was in fact reached. Now, further, Putin insisted Ukraine must stay out of NATO. Remember, this has been a long demand coming in from Russia. Now, Trump sidestepped this demand and did not give any firm commitment on the alliance. Now, overall, both sides raised concerns over prisoners of war exchanges, but once again, no agreement was reached on this point as well. Now, viewers, Russia pushed for a drawdown of forces along the front lines as well, and US demanded verifiable assurances in this case, and eventually the talks stalled on this point. Now, Putin also reaffirmed Crimea as Russian territory. The US flatly rejected any recognition of the region. Meanwhile, Russia also demanded control over eastern Ukraine. The US and the Kyiv rejected any legitimization of Moscow's hold on Ukrainian territories. So as of now, no ceasefire, no concrete deal, and deep divides on every major issue. But the summit sets the stage for more backroom diplomacy. And of course, we will continue this coverage on News9 with expert analysis as well.